Hello and welcome. If you are here for the very first time, welcome to my YouTube channel. And if you are returning, welcome back. If you are new here though, please remember to, I'm just going to shut down my browser. So yeah, if you are new here, please remember to hit the subscribe button. And I would love to hear your comments. I'm also going to be available to chat with you. So let's keep it nice and interactive. It's Friday morning here in Australia and it's been a massive week. So I'm going to share with you some behind the scenes stuff because I know that a lot of times it's not really spoken about when we go through kind of challenges, and it always looks really easy, right? Other people's success looks super, super easy on the internet. But, you know, even when things are really great, sometimes there are some challenges that are going on behind the scenes. Not everything is doom and gloom, that's for sure. I'm going to talk about what I've been up to this week. And then I'm also going to talk to you about the first step that you can take to really start growing this high ticket coaching empire of yours. And when I refer to an empire, I mean going beyond just selling coaching packages. We want to be able to scale our coaching businesses so that we can leverage our time and expertise and essentially be able to make a whole lot more money than we can do if we are just working one-on-one. So let me give you a bit of a behind the scenes. So a few weeks ago, I took on some team members because I know it's time for me to expand beyond myself. And over the years, I have taken on different team members at different times, but I don't think I ever really took it seriously. I always, in the back of my mind, still kept the reins, really tight and was outsourcing a few things here and there. And at one time I had a full-time PA, but there was no growth agenda. It was always pretty much, my plate is full. Can you take some of these things off my plate and be able to just make life a little bit easier for me, basically. But what I found is when I was operating like that, I just wanted to do stuff myself because one, I thrive in the hustle. And the other thing is I always just felt like I did it better, faster, all those sorts of things. And sometimes I just kind of felt like it's a bit of a waste of money when I can do this stuff because I've positioned myself in my business in a way that I never really have to work all that hard. I never have to do a whole bunch of stuff. And so there was always time for me to do those sorts of things. But I've also always known that, to grow to the level that I want to be able to grow, I'm going to need some help and I need some growth focused help. So what I mean by that is people that I bring onto my team that are going to be producing for me, producing results, producing bigger results than I can ever get for myself. And also, I don't like to take on board, new things. So Clubhouse is the newest thing. I'm going to do a live on this in a little while, but I just want to get a little bit deeper in it. But I want to give you an example of the growth stuff that I'm talking about. So I had seen Clubhouse come up just like everybody else and just went, yeah, I don't know that it's worth it. I'll wait a little while to see if it's actually going to be a thing and people are really going to jump on board. But what I loved is my team had already done a bit of a recon. They'd had a look, they'd explored, they worked out how to streamline a process for me to be able to just jump straight into Clubhouse and be ahead of the game because I already know how to structure it. And so I did my first Clubhouse yesterday. I don't know what we're calling it. Do you Clubhouse Live? I don't know. I'll have to get onto the lingo. But my point is that I didn't have to do the research. I didn't have to think about it. I basically just yesterday went, okay, I said I'm going live. I'm just going to press a button and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to work out what to do from here. And so I did. And so that is one of the things that is going to bring a whole new audience to me. It's taking me out of my comfort zone a little bit. I think the thing that we do when we are doing okay in our coaching businesses is that we tend to cruise a little bit. And I know that I've cruised a little bit over the last couple of years, created a nice little life for myself, created, great income for myself. And life is pretty cruisy, but there comes a point, doesn't there, when we realize that, we're not really, we're treading water a little bit in terms of, we're comfortable, nothing really has to change, but inevitably something does have to change. Otherwise we experience a decline. And I also started to get a little bit bored. And so my team over the last couple of weeks, they've been putting me in different arenas and saying, okay, we need you to go here. This is what we need you to talk about, based on obviously the things that I'm experienced at talking about, and also based on our current launch. And so I've been doing that. And while it's been great, I've known exactly what I've needed to do at the exact time and all those sorts of things. And I'm very much in control, as far as showing up and sharing the type of content that I've always created. I'm not being directed as far as, you have to talk about this thing, but just, these are the sorts of things that we want you doing over the next week or so. So very much have a plan moving forward, very much being managed as far as the launch plan, the execution of the launch plan. And I love that. I love the fact that somebody else has, the big picture, just like I do with my clients. Somebody else has the big picture. They know where it's going. They've got all of the details on board, and they're basically, we just need you to do these few things. And it's like, cool, I can do that. And so that sounds great, right? Sounds easy. But it's been hectic because I've not just taken on my team and finding that I've got things happening every day that I need to be doing. When in the past, like if I didn't want to do something, I was just like, I think I'm going to take the day off. And so now it's, it's meaning that I have to be a more elevated, more CEO based person in my business, instead of just a solopreneur who just is, I've always taken my business very, very seriously, always. I've been in this game a long time. I've been doing this close to 30 years. So you don't get to do that if you don't take it seriously. It has always been a business. But I guess the point is that, I've taken this business from zero to nothing. I've earned well over 7 figures in my coaching business online, and I created it all. I built my own websites. I started this whole thing and did it all as a DIY, most of it, and bootstrapped it all the way along. And now I'm basically handing my baby over to somebody else to help me care for. And that's what it feels like. And so, I felt a little bit, I had to transition to that. And it took a little bit more than I expected it would. I felt a little bit, at one point, I remember saying to my team, I'm like, I want my old life back. I just had such a nice little life. But now it's, I'm doing a lot of things for the first time. And so like Clubhouse was an unknown. I tried not to overthink it. I had everything that I needed. I just did it. Now it's like, cool. So now when I start to do those next week, I don't have to put a lot of thought into it. It's just another avenue for me to be able to share content. And that feels pretty good to me now. I really had a great time on Clubhouse. I loved it. I think it's going to be my vibe. But when you're doing something for the first time, there's a bit of unknown. So that's on board now. There's something else that I have to do this afternoon for the first time. So I'll do that, and then that will be on board. And then next week it's going to be a lot easier. In February as well, I took on, my mentorship program kicked off. So I was onboarding my new mentorees this month, and we had our first group call last night, which is amazing. So that was, that's always pretty busy because I want to make sure everybody's getting what they need. And then I also took on training at the place that I train at. I originally started training there to do some rehab on my hip. I've had 3 hip surgeries. I had one in July. And, we're still having a few problems. So I was doing a rehab program there, and then just decided, I've got to put some muscle on my body. I've got to lean out a little bit. I'm just going to go all in. So I'm training there every single day, Monday through Friday. And it's about a 90-minute return trip in the car. So it's taking a bit of a chunk out of my day, and I'm committed to that. And so suddenly I went from this very quiet life where I got to, just do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it, to suddenly being under the pump. And I felt a little bit like I was behind the 8 ball a little bit and running to catch up. And I feel like I've finally caught up today. I'm going to take the weekend off completely, and then I'm going to reset. I'm going to reframe the busyness, because I was feeling like the busyness was like it's too much, and I don't feel like this is how I want to do life and all that sort of stuff. And it's like, no. How can we reframe this? Because this is what you want. And this is a transitional piece. It's not going to last forever. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to spend the weekend just resetting, getting out of my office and going and doing some pretty cool things. I think, or nothing. Like Wednesday afternoon, I took the day off. I went to training, and it was a deloading day, they call it. So it was a day where Sam just stuck needles in my ass, and then I went and, the compression boots. I went and sat with the compression boots on for half an hour, which was great. I got to read on my phone. I just didn't do anything other than read a book. So half an hour there. Then I had to do the hot and cold pools. Oh my God, it's like 5 degrees, so freezing. I think a regular ice bath is 11 degrees, they said, and this is 5 degrees. So I was in and out, and then I had half an hour in the infrared sauna. And I came out and I thought, oh, I'm going to do some things. I'm going to go somewhere and take myself out for lunch. And then I was like, I can't be bothered washing my hair. I'm not going anywhere. So I basically just stayed home in the afternoon, shut my office door, didn't go anywhere, and just journaled and watched a bit of Netflix and just decompressed a little bit. When I hit the ground running again Thursday, I still felt like it wasn't enough. So yeah, it's just a matter of me integrating all the new things that I'm going to be doing. As I say, a lot of things I did for the first time this week, won't need to do for the first time next week. A lot of private coaching calls and my high-ticket coaching mentor calls plus the group call. So a lot more coaching than usual as well. So it has just been a pretty crazy full-on week. And this is my first week of training at Elite every single day. So yeah, next week is going to be easier. So the reason I share this is online, when you see me on, whether it's on Insta or in my group, or whether you're on my list or YouTube, wherever it is, you might think, oh, look, she's really killing it right now. And, it looks like some exciting things are happening in her business and all the rest of it. And all of that is very true. But we also go on a journey ourselves, don't we, when we go through growth. And, resistance shows up in different ways and all of the rest of it. And so the way that I'm dealing with it, and this is probably the takeaway piece before I dive into the next part of this call, and something that I shared with my group last night, is we have to really choose when we're going through that transitional piece. We really have to choose our thoughts carefully and where we want to go and what we focus on. So one of my gorgeous clients in the mentorship program, she's like, oh my God, like she's making like something like €2,000 a day through February. And she's like, I'm just a bit freaked out because like that's so much money. I've not made that much money. And another client said, she's been killing it as well, signing up a lot of clients. And she said, I've just switched into scarcity mentality where I'm worried about what if the clients don't keep coming. I'm like, we all have that. And so both of those things can create chaos. And it's so incredibly common that when really good things are happening, like making €2,000 a day or signing a bunch of clients, that you start to feel uncomfortable. And it's almost like you get the speed wobbles. When you're on a push bike and you're going downhill and you're going really, really fast and you're kind of like, oh shit, something's going to happen here. And so I just reminded my gorgeous clients, just like I want to remind you and remind myself, that what we need to do in those times is focus on what we want. And I use the analogy of, I don't know if you ever remember this, but during driving training, when you're learning to drive, which was, a lot of years ago for me now, but I do remember it. I remember them saying, if your car is going out of control and you focus on the tree, you'll hit the tree. That's where you'll go. So when you are out of control, you've got to concentrate and point in the direction of where you want to go. So clear space. And it's so true. And so if you focus on scarcity and lack and things turning to crap, that's the tree, right? You don't want to focus on the tree because that's exactly what you're going to end up with. So what you need to do is focus, just turn all of your attention and focus on what it is that you want, and acknowledge that the growing pains and the discomfort and the resistance is all just part of growth. I used to get really bad growing pains when I was a kid in my legs, and this feels no different. It feels like growing pains, and oftentimes it doesn't feel comfortable. It feels uncomfortable and a little bit weird, and we feel as though we want to step away from it because it just doesn't feel great. but that's part of the growth. So don't focus on the tree, focus on where you want to go. And how you do that is through journaling, really firmly, powerfully stating what it is that you want, stating, the direction that you're going in, just writing intention, setting your intentions through statements like, I always have a steady stream of clients. I'm always in demand. There is always enough. There is always more than enough. And just be really reminding yourself, this is where I'm going. This is what this is what I'm working to achieve. I'm on track. This is how it's supposed to be. I'm growing. Growing feels uncomfortable, but that's okay. And just journal that shit out of you so that you can turn it around and be focused on what you want and not on what you fear. Because the fear stuff is the tree, and you focus on that, and that's where you're going to end up. All right, so that's that. Now I want to talk to you about, I want to give you something. And so that is about me talking to you about how do you get started. So maybe you're a coach that is just starting out, or maybe you've started a little while ago, but things are not really quite going the way that you want them to. And you've got big dreams. Like, we all have big dreams, right? And it's like, well, the gap between what I want and where I am now is just massive. I don't even know how to get started. And so the first thing that I want you to consider, if you haven't already, is just really get clear about your signature or a signature coaching package. It's the path of least resistance. It's the simplest thing possible, and it's easy to work with in terms of your call to action is simply, schedule a discovery call, drop in my messages, and let's just organize a time to chat, things like that. We want to keep the call to action simple. But the first thing that you need to do is create a package that you're proud of. And the way that I help my clients create packages is we look at what is the outcome that we're trying to achieve here. Now, when that's a business coaching type product, that's super easy, right? My 5K formula for coaches, which is coming up soon, I'll put the link below once I'm off, and I've got a free video series as well, so I'll put that link there, or the card. I'll put a card in. But the 5K formula for coaches, the big promise that I'm making is it's measurable. It's create and sell your first $5,000 coaching package in 4 weeks or less. So I want you to, in a business sense, it's very easy to create an outcome-based product, right? But there are still ways that you can do that in the life coaching space. So I've worked with life coaches, relationship coaches, all different types of life coaches actually, and we still are able to find a way to create an outcome-based offer. And that basically means that anyone that's looking at your offer, whether it's a post on Facebook or whether it's a sales page or whatever it is, they're able to say, oh, I know what I'm getting if I sign up for this. It's going to take me from here to here. That's what I want. People are going to be able to recognize whether they need that, whether they want and need your product. And so the first thing is to create that package. The second, I'm giving you a simplistic version. There's a lot of how-to in amongst it, but figure it out. Sign up for my free video series. That's going to walk you through it. And if you feel called to and you want to work with me as part of a group, then sign up for the 5K formula. The early bird is running at the moment. But the simplistic version is create an offer that's within your sweet spot that you're excited about, that can deliver something pretty amazing. Develop that coaching offer. Then from there, work out who is this a good fit for. Be in front of those people, show up, be, doing live streams, creating posts, emailing your list or whatever. Run discovery calls and work out how to be good at selling this thing that you do, and then start signing clients. So usually I have my clients schedule 10 discovery calls as quickly as they can, because I know that in the early days of doing this, it can take a little while to get comfortable with those calls, but I have a whole process for that too. There's a playlist that I have on this channel called Discovery Call Challenge. That's my process, so go and check that out too. So create the offer, start showing up, book people in for discovery calls, and start making sales. Now, that is not how we build a high-ticket empire. That is how we create and generate cash flow in our coaching business. $5,000 is a really great price point for coaching packages for a number of reasons. Arguably, $5,000 isn't high ticket, but it's a great place to start. It's a way for you to feel like you are charging reasonable price, which means you're going to get great quality clients that have skin in the game, And for you, if you're already charging 5,000, make it 10. Like, it doesn't have to be 5,000, but if you're starting out and you've been charging, I don't know, $1,000 or $100 a session or something like that, then 5,000, just get in there, charge that, and make sure it's worth it. That's what we do on the program. The price stays the same on the 5K formula, and then we just make sure that it is worth it. So create it, get good at selling it, and run out and do those discovery calls. As I say, that's not how we build an empire. That is how we become successful coaches. That is how we hone our craft. That is how we get to gain experience, get testimonials from clients that we deliver results for, all those sorts of things. And then from there, when we become good at this thing, we become good at talking about it, sharing our message, signing people up, getting results for our clients. Then you're going to become booked out pretty quickly. And then the next thing that we need to do is leverage you in a group setting. So then we would move you into running this as a group program, and then potentially as a digital course, and then potentially as an event, and then potentially as a retreat. So there are so many ways that we can go with this one product. And most people that I work with can continue to work with that one product in various ways. When you've done that for a while and you become bored with that, we can start to bring other things on. But what we want to do is not put the cart before the horse. We don't want to take off too quickly. The number one priority I have for my clients when they start working with me is get the 5K formula working, start selling clients, generate cash flow so that you always know how to sign, where to go, how to attract clients, and have those 5K sales coming in over and over and over again, because cash flow is so important. Because when you then, thank you for the love, when you want to go ahead then and invest in, getting your funnels up and running and things like that, you've got the cash there to do it. A lot of coaches will fail because they're so busy on, I want to create a digital course or I want to create a group program, but they haven't really generated any money or success in their coaching business. And it takes a lot of man hours. It takes a lot of more money and more time than you would ever think it's going to cost to create something and get it converting as a passive income product, for example. So I want to keep it real and remind you and let you know that, the path of least resistance is always create an amazing package, know how to sell it, know how to attract the right people, and then just keep that ticking over. And then you will always be able to make money in your coaching business. And at the same time, we work on scaling you so that you don't have to work quite so hard. Anyway, I hope that was useful for you. Thank you for the thumbs up. I can't see who did that, but I'll go and check my comments once I get off. I'll post those links for you, and this afternoon I'll edit and add all the cards and everything if I haven't done it already by the time you're watching the replay. But thank you for being part of this. Friday mornings at about 8 are going to be a good time for me to stream, I think. So, I will go ahead and schedule the next one, probably Monday. So if you've got your notifications on, you'll see that. When I share the link with the live, it's great for you to put the reminder on so that you can catch me live, and then we can keep it interactive. Anyway, have an amazing day, and I will see you Monday when I drop the next pre-recorded video. See you then. Bye.